This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of April 4th, 2022. Turn on your internal GPS. It is what is going to get you through this week and the next couple of weeks. We are in persistent, ongoing fog, in clouds of, well, it's hard to say what, an atmosphere that envelops everything and is pouring into our beings, into our psyches, into our lives, even the crust of the earth, remolding the planet. It is the once every 150-year meeting of the two boundless influences, Jupiter and Neptune, in the all-connecting sign of Pisces. Their conjunction is exact on April 12th. It's been making its effects known for weeks and will continue to well into May. It's immersing everybody in the experiences of people that they'll probably never meet, operating as a kind of anesthetic, making us feel at times like our brains are buffered by big balls of cotton, but also opening us to immersing us in unparalleled guidance and imagination and empathy and connectedness to forces and experiences that are far, far greater than just our lives. Downtime is advisable for taking advantage of this. Escapism is unavoidable to the point of being inevitable. And if you find yourself smoking or drinking, well, that's actually really understandable now, and might be a particularly beneficial way to deal with all of this, especially if you approach substances with a religious, ritualistic intent. Just keep in mind, everybody is affected by this. And also, don't worry if you do take downtime or something else, because it's unlikely that anybody is going to spend this week lying in a hammock, blissed out, zoned out. There are too many influences pushing, nudging, irritating, cajoling, forcing us to face a lot of things and deal with a lot, an awful lot. This week has two big aspects, two opportunities, and two shifts in atmosphere. While Jupiter and Neptune are doing their dance, and one of the aspects and one of the opportunities involve the guy that redirects attention to what is happening in what you might call the real world. Saturn, the planet of adulting, the party pooper of the sky, the force that imposes order, enforces the law and rules and consequences. He looms large at the start of the week, which is full of yellow lights and red lights and stop signs and walls and, in general,
No! 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 I said no!
as Mars, the planet of push, meets up with Saturn. Efforts get slowed, efforts get delayed, efforts get stopped. Aggression is called onto the carpet. Accountability is imposed. Structure and order are imposed. Could be an outgrowth of plans and decisions from the middle of February, fine-tuned at the beginning of March, when Venus and Mars conjoined. Probably not the end of the story, because the first opportunity of the week on the 7th is one for more information and for communication, conversations, perhaps negotiations, when Mercury makes a sextile to Saturn. Mercury is also involved in the other opportunity aspect of the week, which is a sextile to Mars on the 8th. Now, keep in mind that Mercury is in Aries, the sign ruled by Mars, and that we're all using our outside voice. Communications are impulsive, assertive, aggressive, warlike, angry. People are blurting things out rather than thinking things through. Filters are pretty much non-existent. And there are benefits to this as Mercury meets with the two bodies that hit the wall at the beginning of the week, Mars and Saturn, in reverse order. So when Mercury hits Mars on the 8th, there are openings for getting information that will help implement plans. That could move things forward. That could bring action into being. And the combined aspect of Mars meeting Saturn, Mercury with a handshake to Saturn, Mercury with a handshake to Mars, could be strategies for prolonged action. The three could create circumstances that lead to staying power. The second big aspect of the week is at the end on the 10th, when Mercury squares Pluto and demands answers and secrets and revelations and probably some really nasty, uncomfortable stuff coming to the surface. During all of this, remember that Mercury is in Aries, which will be really apparent when the Mercury-Pluto square hits. Probably news involving the war, probably news involving huge power plays, giant hidden amounts of money, so corruption, maybe sanctions, definitely something involving investigations into the insurrection. Oh, and in your own life, boldly honest conversations and realizations, possibly life-changing. Two big atmospheric shifts while all this is going on. The first occurs on the 5th and augments the magic and otherworldliness of the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, and that is Venus moving into Pisces. Venus is said to be elevated in Pisces. This is the placement of mystics and poets and chameleons. Our social mode attunes us all to the underdog and to running around making like Stevie Nicks and wearing flowy clothing and flowy scarves and acting like we're mermaids. But more importantly, being focused on values that don't have to do with what feathers your own bank account. Kindness, beauty, creativity, music, compassion, treating all of life with respect, with regard for the divinity within each and every one of us. And counterbalancing this, Team Earth gets another member when Mercury moves into Taurus on the 10th and brings practicality and a concrete nature to all of the thoughts running through our heads and the conversations that we're engaging in. While we float on the sea of humanity, we have quite an anchor keeping us in place and making it probable that most people will finish their taxes and file them on time. Homing thought of the week remains in effect. Lead me in the direction that is most beneficial and make the signal so strong I get them. Song of the week, Defying Gravity from the Broadway musical Wicked. And the image of the week is a guardrail on a winding road in a fog. Learn more about this in my forecast for the month of April, which is already up at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can sign up for my mailing list and get a Jupiter in Pisces quick reference guide as a download thank you, and book a session with me. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years' experience. I host the show Celestial Compass on Om Times Radio on the first and third Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern. And this week, we have a very Mars conjunct Saturn topic, turning roadblocks into runways, with professional coach Mitch Savoy Hill, who has an extremely unusual background. I think you will enjoy hearing her story. I also host lively conversation on Facebook at Empowerment Unlimited in the group The Astro-Insight Lounge. I have lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, and I'm really grateful to the people who support my work there. I'm on Instagram at @KABiehl and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian Channel. Talk to you next week.